he would have been hoping and waiting for the nod from Sharon, and she'll roll her eyes and go, go on then, one more. And deep down, that's why she loves him. Hi guys, you're watching a clip from the latest episode of The Ripple Effect. If you want to enjoy the full podcast, you can do so exclusively on Spotify right now. So head over there, follow The Ripple Effect, and if you're feeling very generous, why not give the podcast a 5-star rating? Thanks for watching. Enjoy. Quickfire ripples. Here's the one that I've enjoyed the most. Let us know on Twitter. We've got a couple of yours as well, which we can dive into. Yeah. So, Neil Warnock. Back in the day, you just can't stay away, can he?
I don't feel like he can. I feel like Neil Warnock, his wife maybe is the kind of person that encourages him to get back into it because she sees him getting out of football. He gets a little itchy. He gets a little antsy around home. And she goes, Neil, you just need to pick up a club.
Yeah.
And she's waiting for the phone as much as he is.
Well, that's what I was thinking when he does get the call.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who don't know, Neil Warnock is a manager who has been knocking about for a very long time.
Absolutely.
He's in his 70s now, and he keeps sort of going away and goes, that's it. I think his wife's called Sharon. I think often when you know a manager's wife's name,
you know how long they've been around.
And you also kind of know he's a bit of a character. But I imagine when he gets the call, he sort of...
It's not a mobile phone, by the way. It's a landline on which he gets the call. So, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But when he actually answers with the phone number that he's on, just because that's the way that people do it.
3772.
Exactly, yeah.
And what he'll do is he'll sort of read out the conversation as it happens, just to see if he can get the nod from Sharon, who's in the living room at the
time. Scarborough, was that what you're saying?
Yeah. Huddersfield Town, you say?
Yeah.
Struggling to stay in the Championship, you say?
Strangely revisit Huddersfield Town, because he was there for 2 years between 93 and 95, according to my research.
Well, there was an amazing thing on Twitter about Neil Warnock and Buffon are both exactly where they were in 1996.
I love that.
At Palmer and now Huddersfield. But yeah, he would have been hoping and waiting for the nod from Sharon, and she'll roll her eyes and go, go on then, one more. And deep down, that's why she loves him. So he did say that all I want to do is work for 10 weeks a year anyway. And so the possible ripple effect of those words, if owners want to be a bit more forthright, because ultimately, a lot of managers do have 10-week stints, Ask Nathan Jones. We're going to be talking about Graham Potter later in this podcast, who may, at the time of recording, hasn't been sacked. But what if he actually did? That's what we'll be diving into. But what if that became a role, a profile?
Like a drop-in manager sort of thing. Like almost a mercenary, but not. But like a pleasant one, not where it's like
just a loan signing almost, isn't it, to a point?
I like that.
And Neil Warnock fits that. It could allow... Because I think what you do see often is you see a manager physically change over the years.
Yeah.
And sort of, wilt.
So isn't it, are you saying Neil Warnock...
It's like a secondment, isn't it, this?
I think, yeah.
To allow you to remain fresh. And I think there's something in that.
But Neil Warnock, I think, has sufficiently wilted to a degree where you no longer realise when Neil Warnock has wilted.
Yeah.
And so people always think, they notice no difference in the manager from the time he arrives to the time he leaves. And that's part of being one of these 10-week managers. There must be no show of weakness within that time. You cannot be a manager who goes grey under stress. Neil Warnock, already grey.
Yes.
Already very much the kind of guy that you would think something as stressful is happening in his life, even when he's retired.
That's a good point. And also, I think the longer the stretch, the more someone who's kind of bullish and goes, I know the answer and it's this, that unravels in itself.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, sometimes you need a manager who, I guess you could probably say, kind of the Sean Dyche mode in terms of a modern manager who comes in, who's got that kind of strength of leadership, sort of alpha male, a bit old school.
Pragmatism to him, definite pragmatism, definite barbecue vibes.
Yeah, guaranteed barbecue at some stage.
All of these managers must be able to grill meats outside. It's just, it's exactly what you're looking for.
Or at least direct the grilling of the meats.
No, if anything, I'm wrong. They shouldn't be able to grill the meats themselves. It's someone else that they have to backseat drive the grilling of the stuff. So, so you've identified two. You've gone Neil Warnock and you've gone Sean Dyche. That very much paints a picture in my head, but it doesn't leave much space for the younger, more pragmatic, maybe slightly more holistic managers. Are those not 10-week guys?
I've got to be honest, when it comes to those 10-week guys, I am struggling with the guys who need that sort of space in that grey matter.
Yeah, I understand
to allow us to go, well, let's wait and see.
Yeah.
This isn't a wait and see kind of role. But I think this allows, again, we're going to be talking about Big Sam Allardyce. I think he's perfect for this. Harry Redknapp just sails in and fixes it. Like those kind of managers. Although I guess the other side of that is names like possibly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Came in, did well. He's got a track record of doing that.
But aged within the time he was at Manchester
Did
United.
wilt. Yeah, did wilt.
Can I throw a name forward that I imagine will be nowhere near the list, but also people will go, absolutely. Alan Pardew. Massively overlooked in English football, mainly because he was terrible at some clubs or massively disliked. But if you have to stump him for like 10 weeks, you go, fine, I'll stomach it. And you take Alan Pardew, he keeps you up, and at the end of the time you go, we had some good memories, mate. And he goes, no, don't worry. No, it was 10 weeks and I'm done.
Yeah.
And then he just gets in a cab and off to the airport. I'd drive him myself.
Do you know what it is? It's the kind of character that sours. That can sour, and the fan base will sour.
You have a 3-year narrative within the 10 weeks that you're exhausted by the end of it, but the manager has totally gotten every ounce of sweat out of you.
And again, it can be like, what's the turbo boost you need in that 10-week period? So, like Roberto Di Matteo, does he provide that turbo boost in terms of pure 100% nostalgia?
Has he lost that turbo boost?
Has he used it? Yeah.
Has he used all that? And can I then also quote Martinez as another manager that I think would make that kind of impact at a club, but ultimately I think fails within the 10 weeks. So he markets himself that way, fails, has 3 attempts. That's 30 weeks you've had to have a go at it. You can't do this anymore. I'm so sorry.
Actually, the timing of the 10 weeks could be important as well, because actually the sort of softer manager who can just get everything kind of set up and start to push the sort of the toddler of the squad, you know, and get them going, okay, you're right now, you're doing it, you're doing it yourself. That might be your Roberto Martinez. So I think when that manager comes in, when you need that 10 week sort of either glue or turbo boost, could dictate the manager that comes in. But I think it's something that's like is worth looking at.
It's Harry Redknapp.
You can get that.
Harry Redknapp's the one.
Harry Redknapp's
and he needs a transfer window.
Crucially, comes in January 1st, does what he does, gets out,
and away I go.
Shakes your body and he goes, that was a doddle, innit? And then we get the new nostalgia of as he leaves the club, and I mean leaves the club, and I mean leaves the club. He does the little interview outside the window, and everyone's smiling, and it's great fun. And where's he going to turn up next? I think it'd be great fun.